We've done a lot of hard work since back in the day when we were looking at another referendum, one that was asking Australians to recognise us as citizens, to be counted in this country. And again, here we are in 2022, a new government's just come in that is prepared to give us an opportunity as Australians to make a decision about whether Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people should be allowed to have a voice to advise on those issues and matters that relate to us. So the fight's not over. Mm-hmm. We're in an important time, and it just so happens that these themes this year, the National NAIDOC theme, Get Up, Stand Up, Show Up, are all about us playing our part, each and all of us sharing the responsibility to do our bit to, again, further recognise our place in this country.
Just reflecting back on what you just said then, because you were one of the conveners, I believe, of the Uluru Statement and one of the signatories of the Uluru Statement, which is now, 5 years old, and the themes are truth, treaty and recognition, and also constitution.
Yes, so a lot of work has been done, and that 5 years is part of 50 years before that, and that hard work since then has only just now cracked open this opportunity. It's still only an opportunity for all Australians, though, which is what the Uluru Statement from the heart appeals to. It's not appealing to government or to prime ministers. It's very much a invitation to the Australian people to walk with us, to support us, to ensure that we genuinely have a protected advisory voice on those matters that affect us, our peoples.
If it goes to a referendum, yes, the governments can get behind it, which is I really, really, really want to see, but we are also looking at a 75% yes vote of the Australian population to get it up, because we saw a referendum to go to a republic, it fell over. So it is now the hard, I hate to say it, but the hard work now is to put the truth out there and start talking with everyday Australians from all walks of life.
Yep, you're right. It is the hard work starting now, and we all need to be part of the heavy lifting, and that means that a lot of it is just around awareness and education, conversations with people we know, a lot of myth busting. You know, there's been a lot of fear we've seen in past years, and if we can go back to part of recognising the 30th anniversary of the Mabo decision was remembering the fear and all of the hysteria that went around at the time when that decision was made. Well, you know, giving Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people a clear pathway to provide advice and take issues to Parliament in an effective way that's never been done before, in a protected way, is all that we're asking here. It's really, at the end of the day, giving Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people a fair go. And I think most Australians understand that through polling, through the reporting, through the consultation over these past years, through a number of reports. Today, through those polls, I'll go back to the co-design report that was released last year by the previous government, that comprehensively engaged with over 100 communities and received over 3,000 submissions from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as well as from non-Indigenous people. And the clear message that came from those submissions, when you look at some of the reports that were coming back through the Vote Compass, for example, and other polling around the election, and you've only got to look at the result of the election, the majority of Australians, we feel, stand by this opportunity. And the work we've got to do now is to ensure that we get that majority of people, when it comes to referendum, that we've got the majority of voters in the majority of states supporting that, gives us a enshrined voice to Parliament. It's real and it can happen. We just need to ensure that people are getting the right information. They aren't confused. They aren't being
bamboozled by
other
interests,
disinterest, and it's not stopping anything else happening as well. So we've seen some people talk about we need to do treaty first. Well, the treaty's happening in places. They're rolling out. So this is really important for us, Mark, because these treaties and other things take time. They don't happen overnight. And in the meantime, there is a huge gap there in terms of representation from people in communities, particularly in remote communities, right across the country, you know, on islands, deserts, urban places even, where people feel like they've got no one to talk to. We've got the most members ever in Parliament, which is something to celebrate, but these are people who are, as we know, tied to their parties, tied to their constituents. People are feeling like they want to be able to go to a representative that comes from their part of the world and is able to articulate on their behalf the issues of water, housing, education, the basics.
Yeah.
Not about, you know, the price of housing, because that's not an issue for most people. So it's a completely different representation that we're talking about. We want people who can see a clear pathway to their representative to Parliament. And again, this is about providing advice to Parliament only. We want people to be confident and have no doubt about what this is. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, as well as non-Indigenous people, and see the benefit that this will have to not only our peoples but to the Australia at large.
And as you said, it is from there that the other things will then become, because everything from housing in remote areas, which is important, health in remote areas, which is important, but we've got to have the start of the building blocks for that.
Yes.